Have you ever taken a job that seemed completely normal, only to realize later that it was the biggest mistake of your life? What happened to Ethan on a cold October night is something he still refuses to talk about, even years later. Back when he was 19 years old, Ethan worked part-time for a small food delivery company while attending college. The job was simple: pick up orders, deliver them, get paid, and go home. Most nights were boring, but one night changed everything. At 1:03 a.m., Ethan had just finished his final delivery and was getting ready to clock out when a new order suddenly appeared on his screen. The address was strange. It was located far outside the city, deep in an area surrounded by old woods. The order itself was even stranger. One customer had ordered enough food for 10 people. The delivery fee was unusually high, and there was a note attached: "Please do not leave until someone answers the door." Ethan almost ignored it. The restaurant was closing. He was exhausted, but the large tip convinced him to take the order. 30 minutes later, he found himself driving down a narrow road surrounded by endless trees. No houses, no streetlights, no traffic, nothing, just darkness the farther he drove. The quieter the world became. Even his phone's signal disappeared. Eventually, his GPS announced that he had arrived. Ethan slowed his car and looked around. A large house stood ahead. It looked old, very old. Its paint was peeling. The windows were covered in dust, and not a single light was on inside. The place looked abandoned. For a moment, Ethan wondered if the GPS had made a mistake. He checked the address again. It matched perfectly. He grabbed the food and walked toward the front door. The silence was unsettling. Not even insects could be heard. As he stepped onto the porch, he noticed something strange. The front door was slightly open, just a few inches. Ethan froze. Most people lock their doors at night, especially in such an isolated place. He knocked, no answer. He knocked again, still nothing. Then he heard it. A faint sound, footsteps. Slow footsteps coming from somewhere inside. Relieved, Ethan called out, "Food delivery." The footsteps stopped immediately. The silence returned. Several seconds passed. Nothing happened. Then the front door slowly creaked open by itself. Ethan stared into the dark hallway beyond. "Hello," he said. No response. The large tip was already in his mind. He stepped inside. The air felt cold, much colder than outside. The house smelled old, like wet wood and dust. A dim light suddenly switched on at the far end of the hallway. Ethan jumped. He was certain nobody had touched a switch. Then he noticed a small figure standing near the light. A little boy, maybe 7 years old. The child was standing perfectly still, watching him. "Hey, kid," Ethan said nervously. "Can you get your parents?" The boy didn't answer. He simply pointed toward a room at the end of the hallway. Then he walked away. Ethan followed. The room appeared to be a dining room. A table sat in the center. 10 empty chairs surrounded it. Everything was covered in dust. Everything except the table. The table looked clean, as if it had been wiped recently. Ethan placed the food boxes down. Hello, no answer. He turned around. The little boy was gone, completely gone. Ethan felt a chill run through his body. Then he heard a loud crash upstairs. He nearly dropped his phone. Another crash followed, then another. Something heavy was moving above him. Ethan pulled out his phone to call someone. No signal, not even one bar. The noises upstairs continued, slowly moving from one side of the house to the other. Then they stopped directly above him. Silence. A few seconds later, he heard footsteps descending the stairs. One step, then another, and another. Whoever was coming down was moving very slowly. Ethan stood frozen. The footsteps reached the bottom, then stopped. He waited, nothing. The hallway remained empty. Nobody appeared. Suddenly, his phone screen lit up. A new notification appeared, unknown number. The message contained only 6 words. Get out of the house now. Ethan's heart nearly stopped. He looked around wildly. Another message arrived. Don't look behind you. His breathing became heavy. Someone was playing a sick joke. They had to be. Then a third message appeared. The child is not alone. Without thinking, Ethan turned around. The dining room was empty, but the chair directly behind him was no longer pushed under the table. It had moved. Someone had been sitting there just moments ago. Ethan grabbed his bag and rushed toward the front door. Halfway down the hallway, he heard laughter, a child's laughter, coming from upstairs. Then another child's laughter joined it. Then another. Soon it sounded like dozens of children laughing throughout the house. The sound echoed from every direction. Ethan sprinted outside. The moment he reached his car, he locked the doors. His hands were shaking so badly he could barely start the engine. The headlights turned on, and that's when he saw them. Figures standing in the windows, small figures, children watching him. There seemed to be far too many of them, 10, 20, maybe more, all standing motionless, looking directly at him. Ethan slammed the car into reverse and sped away. A few minutes later, his phone signal returned. Immediately he called the restaurant manager. The manager sounded confused. What delivery? Ethan explained everything. The address, the order, the huge tip. The manager interrupted him. Ethan, we never received that order. Ethan went silent. The manager continued. There are no records of it. The next morning, Ethan drove back with 2 police officers. The house was still there, but something was wrong. The front door was boarded shut. The windows were broken, and the property looked completely abandoned. The officers searched the entire building. Nobody was inside. No furniture, no lights, no dining table, nothing. Just empty rooms covered in years of dust. One officer eventually found an old newspaper clipping lying on the floor. According to the article, decades earlier, a large family had lived there one night. A fire broke out while everyone was asleep. 10 children and their parents never made it out. The house had been abandoned ever since. Ethan tried to explain what he had seen. The clean dining room, the little boy, the messages, and the children in the windows. But there was something he never told the officers, something he keeps secret even today. When he checked his phone later that night, he discovered one final message from the unknown number, a message that had arrived after he escaped. The message read, "Thank you for bringing dinner," and attached to it was a photograph taken from inside the house, showing Ethan standing in the dining room, completely unaware that someone was standing directly behind him. And if you think that was terrifying, remember this: nobody was ever able to find who sent the messages, who took the photograph, or who placed the order in the first place. And that mystery remains unsolved to this day.